woman that you want to be around you, you vetting for where you going, not for where you at.
I'm gonna let you guys know, man. I have been following Anton for maybe a year plus, and he's just like me. He brings the truth for a reason. When I was incarcerated, one of the things that I learned about men, and let me know if the music's too high, guys. One thing I learned about men, we learn on our pillows, gentlemen. We learn on our pillows. What do I mean by that? You can tell a man a truth right in front of him, and he'll fuss you down until he's by himself on his pillow. And all of a sudden, the reality of what a person told them suddenly kicks in. That's what I noticed about Anton. When he says something to a woman or to a guy on his channel during consultation, there's a lot of fussing and cussing and disagreement. And that's why you guys often hear me say, I'm talking to you like cameras are off. Because I know a lot of times as men, we don't hear until cameras off, we're on our pillow. And a lot of the advice that I have picked up myself from Anton, as well as others, are advice that when I first heard him say it, I was like, I agree. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me think about that. That makes sense. And so I appreciate all that Anton has done with his channels. I appreciate what he's done for other channels. And for those that are moderators, make sure that you, as Anton tells you about his Millionaire Morning channel, make sure that you drop the link to that so guys subscribe, as well as the Anton Daniels channel that comes on at night. Shout out to Anton for also being there for those of us that were watching him on New Year's Eve. Let me bring up our special guest because he does so many amazing things. That Detroit boy right there. Are you east side, west side?
West side.
Oh no, you gotta go.
Yeah, west
you gotta back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
Don't play with this man. How's your morning going that time?
Man, it's going phenomenal. I had to make a couple runs early in the morning. But I'm good, man. I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be kicking it with you, bro.
I'm glad to be kicking it with you too, man. I actually saw your interview with Aaron of the Passport Bro movement a while back. I saw that interview. Excellent interview. Aaron's one of my closest dudes.
I was not familiar at all with the Passport Bros until I got on the internet, right? And even when I was on the internet, because I was in certain spaces and the type of content that was feeding my algorithm, I was not familiar. And thank y'all for the super chats. I'm going to continue to read them throughout the show. Thank y'all for everybody that held me down. I was not familiar with Passport Bros. Now, one person that's been going in on the Passport Bros is Cynthia G. We'll get to her shortly. She has some unkind words to say with regard to a video that I created, but that's neither here nor there. She'll have her time. We're going to slow cook on that one. But throughout my friendships and relationships, y'all know I'm cool with O'Shea Duke Jackson. It's a couple, I think his name is Passport to Thailand or Travel to Thailand or something like that. I forgot what the name is. It's a couple people that I'm really cool with, and guys started really having conversations about Passport Bros, right? And so I was always trying to figure out, well, what exactly does this mean? Because the Passport Bros, from my perspective, is very much in its infancy stage, right? It is a thing that has been in existence, but it's just really, really starting to get popular, especially here on platforms like YouTube and Instagram and things like that, right? And so we hear a lot about the different people that are doing things overseas and, you know, sex tourism, or whether or not people are really, because it's two different sides to that story. It's people that go over there to bust it down, and then there's people that I'm assuming go over there in order to really be able to experience life differently based off of what they're used to dealing with, especially with women in Western culture, right? And so I had Jay Rello, Freshest and Gary, cracked me up, hilarious dude. I do think that he's going to be successful. Whether he's successful in doing things the right way or the wrong way, I'm going to leave that up to you guys to decide. But the one thing that I do want to have a conversation about is I want to get it from the other perspective, right? And Aaron, I believe that's your name, Aaron. Aaron is a person that I think can probably better represent or communicate what it means to be a passport bro, which may or may not be on the other side of the spectrum from Jay Rello. Now, one of the things that I try not to do is I try not to have extensive conversations with anybody prior to bringing them on the show. That way I can actually authentically have a conversation and ask them questions. So without further ado, and his channel, the link to his channel is linked in the description of the show. I want to bring up somebody up here. Black Man Travels, Passport Bro, Aaron. I want to bring somebody up here that can probably better have a conversation to give us real insight, because it's one thing to listen to Cynthia G, right? And it's another thing to see all of the wild, crazy stories that's happening across the internet that highlight the bad of what happens, or these dudes are dusty and all of this other type of stuff. I want to get some insight from somebody that may be able to give me a better view into what it really means to be a passport bro. What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm chilling, man. Listen, bro, I'm happy to have you. Hopefully you can give me a lot more insight than whatever it is being highlighted on TikTok and Instagram, and more importantly, YouTube. Right. I'm definitely going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Shout out to my dog Logic is in the building. Where you currently located at, my friend?
I'm in Thailand right now.
You in Thailand?
In Thailand. Yes, sir. I've been living here for close to a year now. It'll be a year, and maybe next week it'll be a year.
Wow. Okay. So what made you head over to Thailand in the first place?
Well, I've been living overseas for 3 years now. I left America in 2019, and I moved to Colombia for about a year. Then after that, I moved to Brazil for almost close to a year. And then from Brazil, I came straight here to Thailand. I'll be about a year. So, I like to travel. I've been to about 9 countries so far. But Thailand is a very easygoing and very safe place and cost-efficient place as well. We're forming like a expat community out here. There's a lot of brothers out here. Shout out to Zoom to Thailand and other YouTubers out here. So, yeah, man. Just loving living overseas, bro. Just love living overseas, and I appreciate you having me on because when I initially, started this, passport, bro. I don't like to say movement, but I would just say a community of guys who like to travel and have similar interests and a similar ideology towards life in general. I never anticipated it taking this turn into what I like to call the gender war. Whatnot, because it was always about being an expat, leveraging your American dollar and taking advantage of opportunities that we have coming from America. So that's what the initial thought process was to the Passport Bros.
Do you think that the Passport Bros are going through growing pains right now? Because you guys are becoming very, very popular, right? Somewhat, I would even compare it similarly to the Manosphere, right? Which I don't consider myself a part of the Manosphere, but I can't control how people group you. Mm-hmm. They're gonna group you however they group you, right?
Let's get ready to get started because, guys, let me know if the music is just right. Is it too loud? Is it just right? Because I don't want to be too loud because you know how big my mouth is. It's cool for me, but I don't want to have it too loud for our guests. Let's get started in regards to some of the questions that I've actually written down. I'm a note taker, bad nature. For those that claim that they don't know who you are, give us a brief synopsis on. Because I know that if I'm not mistaken, you're Cass Tech grad, aren't you?
That's correct. Yep, Cass Tech, downtown Detroit, Cass Tech. That's correct. You got it right.
Yes, sir, man. Because you Cass Tech dudes, y'all smarter than the average bear. So we already know. We already know. Soon we saw the Cass Tech building. Most of us in the city could just ride by. That's it. That's Cass right there. So we could just look at it.
I'm a lifetime C student, right? So I went there, but I'm not necessarily the sharpest knife in the tool shed, which obviously I think that played into my favor because it just forced me to work a little bit harder. It forced me to be a little bit more situationally aware. Because, coming from Detroit and being a lifetime C student, you know, the odds is not supposed to be in my favor. It's not supposed to be in any of our favor, right? Even when it comes to women, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances. But the reality is that we actually at the top of the totem pole, and we don't even realize it. But I think that that's why it's so important for people like you in the space, because you show, you know, what's possible. You show why it's needed to have these cultural experiences. You show why it's important for us to continue to grow and to continue to support each other, because, you know, let it come to society, or let it come to women, or let it come to people that's bitter. They'll tell us what we ain't supposed to be, when in reality we at the top of the totem pole. So yeah, man, that's why I love watching you, man, because you tell the truth.
One thing that I do like that you did, I just watched the video and we showed a clip of it last night. When you were at the gas station a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, you were in Detroit. You were just showcasing your wife's Porsche truck. Shout out to you in regards to that blessing for your wife. And you were talking about the gentleman that you did mentorship with. He was worth $100,000 as far as his job was concerned, and you made him realize, don't lean on that.
Nope.
Get you a side career. Because that's not guaranteed. Yep. And the larger money fell off by the wayside. But because he had that, he didn't lean on it, and he had the side job, he was able to pivot and continue to stack his money, continue to grow, and now he has a nice pool of money to invest in other areas, such as if he wanted to invest in real estate or REIT or any other opportunities that are out there. Mm-hmm. Could you give our audience a synopsis in regards to, do you make that same type of recommendation for most people that you do mentorship with, for them to have some type of side hustle? Don't lean on what you do, because, and I'm going to end it with this. The reason why that caught me so much, what you did, Anton, with the guy that made $100,000 a year, and you still told him to get a side hustle, a side job, was because most guys don't realize statistically over 40% of individuals that make $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. There's for over 25%. 33% of those that make $250,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. So when you said that resonated with me. Like, he's right. But for most people that are making 100,000 or trying to get to 100,000, they don't realize having a side job or a side hustle is still a must-have.
100%. And the thing about it is that what people don't realize is that they think that, okay, let me eliminate this myth right now, right? They think that a lot of people, not they, but a lot of people believe that wealth is silent, and it's not true. They'll also use a statistic that shows the lifestyle of most millionaires, and it's a myth, right? And the myth is that most millionaires are not based off of how much money that they have inside of their bank account. If you say, okay, well, this person is a millionaire and he's worth $5 million, I can guarantee you that a lot of that is tied up in his investments, it's tied up in his home or homes. It's not liquid. Now, does he have access to be able to get to money, or does he have access to be able to source out a lot of money in order to do whatever it is that he want to do or live his lifestyle? Absolutely. But money is loud. And the reason why people that have money is less likely to make themselves available to people that don't is because they don't want that jealousy to come upon them. But when you get in front of people that actually have resources, it's not about how much money you make, right? It's never about how much money you make. Money is a tool. That's it. It's just a tool. And so when I have conversations with people and I say, oh, okay, so you're now making 100 bands, you'll realize very quickly that, first of all, you jump from a 12% tax bracket to a 22% tax bracket. Once you cross that $80,000 threshold, if you're a single man, you just, it's much lower as a single man, but as a married man, you cross that threshold, you jump 10%. And so unless you making 110, 120, really that only feels like 190. And so it don't feel no different once you cross from that 78, 79, $80,000 threshold and then getting to 100,000. But people look at the numbers and then they adjust their lifestyle to fit what it is that they feel like that number is. And even when they do these calculations, let me get a little bit long-winded real quick. When they do these calculations, like let's just say they say, how much home can you afford? Well, how much money do you make? They don't take into account how much you net, how much you take home. Even when we talk about these business owners, this business makes this amount of money. If you study any of these companies, on the stock market, you look at the hospitality industry, you look at airlines, right? Those companies are upside down. Delta, American Airlines, they have just as many liabilities as they have assets, right? And so when you start to break these things down and you look at it and you say, okay, well, Delta grows $3.4 billion this quarter, but their margin, the amount of money that they actually made was only $100 million, and it was in a negative the quarter before. It's the same way with our regular lives. So what we'll do a lot of times is we'll meet a threshold and then we say, oh, okay, I can go and get that Mercedes. Okay, I can go and get that BMW. Okay, I can start spreading out a little bit. But see, I teach people, or I advocate for people to hold it down. Let's just say, for example, you used to making $40,000, $50,000 a year, right? And then you start to get to a space within the next couple of years, you start making 100 grand, 110, 120. And let me just say this, for us men, you can get there, bro. You absolutely are going to get there. You don't even reach the apex of your earnings until you're in your late 50s, early 60s. So even when y'all start to talk to these women and they start to tell y'all what y'all ain't, remember, when you vetting for a woman that you want to be around you vetting for where you going, not for where you at, because she's going to decline. And so the value that she adds into your life has to be substantiated based off of where you going versus where it is that you at, because that's why they say they don't want to date based off of potential. They want you to already be there.